Alright, what's up guys? I gotta address some things. My last video I uploaded, I realized somebody told me that there was no desktop audio. I had completely missed that, and to be honest, it really sucked. Because I found out after that, I found out after I had recorded for over 50 minutes. I was recording for over 50 minutes over a reaction, got through with the video, and then looked up and realized the desktop audio was still not playing. I had to go look through the settings and fix that. But it's fixed now, and depression. To say the least, it was kind of depressing. But today we're going to be reacting to Vara Dark Titan Media video on Highguard investors drop funding, devs meltdown, and blame everyone but themselves for its failure. I'm just saying, Highguard, it looked like shit. The game mode looked like shit. Like I honestly didn't like the way it looked. Without further ado, though, let's go ahead and get into this.
Highguard is just about at the end of its life cycle. I don't think that this game is going to survive for much longer, given they've only got about 20 developers working on it. We're
Oh,
finding out
20?
that Tencent had pulled their funding after their disaster.
Oh, fucking Tencent pulled funding. Ooh, they are going down.
Launch, and apparently it's still not the developer's fault for creating a terrible game because they're blaming its failure on the overconfidence of their leadership. I have a few different things to
Remember, it's everybody else's fault. It's not the people who made it. It's everybody else's fault because they didn't want to buy it or they didn't want to play it.
show off. But before I get into the topic, if you
So this
enjoy the
shit always
content
goes,
I
man.
create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, just a few days ago, we had found out that Tencent was secretly funding Highguard and this studio. And I
Oh yeah,
can't
it's
say I'm
fucking
particularly
balls.
surprised by this situation because we clearly knew they had a lot of money at their disposal when they paid $1 million to highlight their game at the Game Awards. A small independent team wouldn't have been able to do that. And then the reason that
Sus.
they said it failed was because of the leadership. And sure, I do think in some cases the leader
I'd say leadership does play a factor, but at the end of the day, they pushed out a game that sucked that nobody wanted. It was going to fail.
leadership is to blame because they'll rush a game out, they will set unrealistic goals and expectations within the studio, things like that. But ultimately, it is the developer's fault for not creating something better. You all were getting paid pretty well. You had a lot of time to make this game.
Oh
And
yeah.
then your responses on social media to the backlash were not very good. But yes,
Oh yeah, they were like they turned and blamed people and told people like, "Oh, you need to try it before you judge" or some shit like that, or like it's like a hate mob or some shit. Like, make a good game and people will show up for the game. High Guard looked like dog shit, in my opinion. It didn't look fun, so I didn't get it to play it. Even though I think it was free to play, I'm pretty sure it's free to play. It's just like I still just don't have an interest in it.
now we have found out that Tencent has pulled funding after the rough
Sucks.
launch, and this is why they went through those major layoffs. They have said apparently there's about 20 people who are still working on this game. And so
Going
that was
down.
called a core team when the layoffs happened. So that means they must have had well over 100 developers who actually helped on this experience. But new details have emerged regarding Highguard's downfall. A new report notes that Tencent pulled its funding for the game, leading to the mass layoffs at Wildlight Entertainment. And yes, I do think that in a lot of cases, we should see the funding
Sorry, the puppy.
element, whether it is investors
Yeah.
or their parent company, whoever it is,
Uh-huh.
give a
Yeah.
little bit
That's very
more
cute.
time
Yeah,
before
you're cute.
killing a game because yes, occasionally developers can put the time and effort in and they can
I will not say that this game is a complete failure. Well, I probably will. Would you shush? So, hold on. Come here. Come here. I know what you. Get your ass over here. Oh. Here, you're my lap now. Shush. Please be quiet. Okay. No Man's Sky is a great example of a game that was horrible and dog shit in what if like was a dead on arrival game that like they promised way too much. Ow, promised way too much and did not deliver. But now, if you look at it now, they stuck with it. And they delivered on most of the things they promised, and did have gone above and beyond. Now, Highguard, I would say Highguard have done something like that, but now with the core audience of a core team and audience of 20, it's doubtful. With only 20 people, there's not enough people there to make features people would actually want or show up for. So this is pretty much a game that is just done for. It's dead.
change things and fix it. But I get that there are a lot of investors that don't want to
Puppy's
deal
named Daisy.
with paying for nothing, paying all of this money
you're
for
cute.
a game that isn't going to go anywhere. Look at what happened with Sony and Concord. They pulled the plug because nobody was playing it. It was getting destroyed on social media, and there was no clear path forward with that game. Now, in the case of Highguard, yes, it did launch to 97,000 players, which is a lot, but that just goes to show that people gave you a chance and you just sucked. Your game sucked, your team sucked, your product sucked, and this is why you failed. It's not because the leadership came out and, oh my gosh, didn't give you a chance or held you back. This game had a lot to it. This
90 fucking thousand players. That's a good amount of players. And to lose most of those players, like in the first, like what was it, like 2 days? I think it was like the first 2 days they lost most of those players and went down like to like. I think it was within 24 hours they had dropped down like I think 15,000 or so, or like 9,000 or somewhere around there. And I'm like, to drop that much, your game has to suck.
game had every system under the sun, so clearly the developers were given a chance to basically make whatever they wanted. They were given a big budget, they were given a lot of time. It's just that the developers aren't good at their jobs and couldn't create an experience that people wanted. It says, though, this new report from Jason Schreier notes that fewer than 20 people remain at Wildlight Entertainment. The organization
it's the studio's just going to shut down now. That's just what it is. Like, they marketed themselves as an indie dev. As the indie devs, and then had a massive corporation fund them, and not disclose they had a massive corporation behind them. Because then, like, they knew that would be like, oh, you're not an indie dev because you got a massive corporation funding you. That's just inevitably like like they made a bad game, and they made bad choices with their decisions of like being open with the people, which ultimately fucked them in any sympathy for them.
had announced a major restructuring in the wake of its rough launch, and the news of lack of funding came in a meeting just a few days ago. The report notes that several team members used the word hubris when asked what went wrong with the launch. And yes, that leads me to this article that says ex-Highguard developers blame hubris for the game's failure in a new report, with studio leaders convinced they had another Apex Legends on their hands. And
Apex Legends isn't even that good of a game. Is it fun? Yes, it's a bit of fun. But honestly, at best, I'd call it mid. It's like a mid game. It can be fun. It's more like you gotta be in the mood to play it. And then it's like Apex Legends has fallen off. What people wanted was another Titanfall. I played Titanfall. That game is fucking fun and amazing. And it is a crime that hasn't been another one. Like, they need to make another Titanfall. For the love of God, Titanfall was amazing. People say, I think some people say like, oh, it's a niche audience or a small audience for them. Like, to make a bigger audience, make the game fun, and you attract even more people. Like Titanfall, their idea was there. These awesome mechs, these players like wall running, like the futuristic gun shit. It was like always so bad in most games that I've played, like where they try to go super futuristic. But Titanfall did it good. If you disagree, that's fine. But like, ow, stop biting me. Titanfall did it good, in my opinion. They went big guns, futuristic, and then they went with mechs. I'm like, you don't get any more badass than that.
Sure, I do think part of this is the studio
Ow!
leader's
Stop
fault
biting me!
for maybe hyping up the team too much, allowing toxic positivity to run rampant in the
Toxic positivity is a real issue right now in the gaming industry with the companies. They are not allowing criticism, which is an actual deal you can look into if you want. There's articles of toxic positivity, which is essentially where they do not allow negativity whatsoever. Like, which means you can't criticize anyone's ideas, because if you criticize them, you're being negative, and they don't want that. They only want positive, so you can't criticize them. Period. So you can't say, "Hey, this is kind of a bad idea. Like, we shouldn't do this." You can't do that. You can't say that because then they'll get their feelings will get hurt, and then will be discouraged, and then they'll go to HR and report you because you hurt their feelings for just not liking their idea. And then you get in trouble or you get fired. Then they put the idea in the game anyway, and then the game fails, and nobody actually liked the idea that they had.
studio, but
Real
at the same
problem.
time, we have these ex developers blaming everybody but
Ow.
themselves. They are blaming gamers, they are blaming their team leaders, but they will not take a look in the mirror and go, maybe I should have a little bit of personal responsibility in this situation. Maybe I helped contribute to this bad situation. And this is why so many gamers are sick and tired of a lot of the developers that are in the industry being activists aside. They're
Me and my buddy, talked one time. Well, we talked multiple times, but like we talked, and like he told me something that just remains true. That me and him, we lived through the golden age of gaming, which was like I think it's somewhere like 2010 to like 2000. I'm gonna say like 2010 to like 2015 ish, and then around 16 it started taking a bit of a turn, gradually, gradually getting less and less, dropping in quality. Like yes, it sucks. We lived through like the golden age, and I won't say we can't hit another golden age. It's just the industry has been infected with this like toxic positivity and the LGBTQ plus crap and Pride Month and all that shit. And like it, they are pushing for too much. And I'm gonna be real with y'all for a second. When games do Pride Month, I actually don't care. Like, that's cool. I'm like, fine, you want to do that? Like, I have no problem with that. What bothers me is when they make a game and it's basically surrounded by pride. Like the whole game is like it like preaches some pride about this and that, or it just the story feels very forced and like poorly written. Like characters feel forced into place, like and then like they don't actually seem like they fit. They're just like put there for a uh, a political or a what's called diversity insert. It feels unnatural. I say, write a good story. Find characters that appearance matches what should be, like what people want to see. If it looks like or sounds like it ain't gonna fit, and it like sounds a bit weird, or like the wording is a bit off, maybe do some changes. Try to make it more appealing. And you say, like, oh, we don't want to appeal to the male gaze. Well, then you don't need to be in this industry. I'm sorry, it's simple as that. If like don't want to make it a character attractive, I'm not saying you have to, Because there's plenty of unattractive characters that are good, fun, and interesting. But when you make your character uninteresting, unappealing, and unattractive, they tend to be rather annoying. And I don't like that shit. I'm gonna try to think of one off the top of the head of a game I've actually played. Let's see. Hell, I can't think of one really right now because like most of the games I play, the characters actually like they got good story to them. They are visually appealing, and like when they're visually appealing, I'll be fucking frank. I give money, I pay, I give cash because it's like this line. It's like we're here for a good time, not a long time. So like one day I'll be gone, dead, and in the dirt. So what does it matter? You know, like what you know what I mean? Like, what does it matter if like it appeals to the male gaze? Like, if it appeals to male gaze, while I'm alive, I give money, and when I'm dead, well, then I'm just in the dirt. So, how about appeal to the people that are just gonna be there though? Because like the male gaze is always gonna be there. You're always gonna have a male audience in gaming, and as well as females. Like there's multiple females that come out and say like we like to look at attractive characters, attractive females, attractive males. Like we like that. We don't want to sit there and look at an ugly character all day or a unattractive character. Now, here we're gonna keep going.
Generally just
I'm
narcissists.
drinking
They are
G Fuel.
rude, toxic people who believe that they are better than everybody else. They think they are definitely better than gamers, and they have no respect for anybody around them.
Oh god, I hit the bottom. A lot of powder in the mouth. Oh, okay, that's nasty. She's not wrong there either. There are some people who like truly do believe that. Now, I think RuneScape is a good example because even the RuneScape devs like they wanted to keep some of the stuff in the game that was like pride related, and so offered to even do it for free, which I feel is very overreaching because people didn't want that. They don't want the Pride Month stuff or the all this shit. I'll be real. I don't care about the Pride Month stuff. But when they like talk about doing a pride parade, I'm like, that's a bit overboard. I think my dog's trying to escape. I might have to block off that fucking doggy door. I'm just saying, like, there's a limit to what they need to do. Like, they do not need to exceed a certain amount. Because if they do too much, it's going to feel forced and it's going to take people out of the immersion. If you break people's immersion, you lose customers.
And when their product fails, they point the finger and lay the blame at somebody else's feet. They will throw anybody under the bus as long as they are the ones who are able to walk away from this situation with a scuffed knee. They don't care what else happens to anybody else. And well, when a game fails like this and everyone's throwing each other under the bus, just goes to show how bad the work environment really was. And at the time of recording this video, there are currently 368 players in game right now. It has been a month since Highguard released. It went from 97,249 to 368. This is the largest and most drastic drop off in a short span of time that I personally have ever seen in the video game industry. Sure, games like Concord release and they do nothing, but even that isn't as shocking as seeing something like this. Now, I do know when they announced the layoffs and it seemed that this game wasn't going to be around for much longer, their numbers did drastically decline. A lot of people gave up because why would you invest time and money?
I gotta end my recording for a second because I gotta make sure that puppy did not get out the door because there's not a fence up right now. Alright, I'm back. I had to go get my puppy. Yeah, she got out the doggy door. It was on my porch. I'd rather her not risk her getting to the road or anything like that, or some animal come up here and grab her. So I went out there and grabbed her. She's a little too small right now. But let's get back into this.
An effort into something that could disappear tomorrow. But yeah, this is
Oh yeah, this could Highguard could definitely disappear tomorrow. The servers could be taken down tomorrow, and it'd be the end of the game, and it would be another Concord. But at least they had way more players than Concord ever had.
An absolutely insane situation to see. And of course, I don't really feel all that bad. Now, taking a look on social media at the responses to everything
Ugh.
that's happening, there's people saying,
Ouch.
ouch, the failure was 100% ego and overconfidence. That's what the kids call an epic fail. Now, that is some funny shit. What was it, Jeff Keighley? An independent studio? Yeah, and I definitely think that the marketing, or I guess the lack
Yeah, independent my ass.
thereof leading up to the release, did not help either. It seemed that it was a good strategy in theory to like stay silent and not say anything, but Jeff Keighley not knowing that's the strategy, and then Jeff Keighley being
The guy hyping it up, which I'm going to assume is Jeff Keighley, hyping it up like from the creators of Titanfall, he did not do them any favors. He is not responsible for their failure, but he did not do them any favors.
like, in 24 hours, I'll be collecting your apologies. That just made it so much
Oh,
worse.
24 hours, I'll be collecting your apologies, dude. Dude. That is so much overconfidence that come back to bite you in the ass. That gives me more of a reason just to play it and like not like it. Because your overconfident ass is annoying.
And sure, out of the people talking about it on social media, some did genuinely want this game to fail. I personally didn't.
I didn't want it to fail. I wish it was a good game. But it didn't look like a good game. And from everything I've seen, it was not a good game.
Want a game to fail for the fucks of it. I would rather everything come out and be
Shut up,
amazing and a 10 out of 10. But
little bastard.
yeah, I mean, it's too good to not point and laugh at. Its destruction was inevitable, only a matter of time before the clock runs out. Trying to hold in a laugh and failing. Good, they tried and failed. Dang, no fucking shit. Yeah, and they called it lightning in a bottle in the studio, so clearly the
Yeah.
bottle broke.
Yeah, lightning in a bottle. Are you sure that's not a fart in a bottle?
I will be covering Highguard when the servers go down, probably. I think that's going to be relatively soon.
Probably
But
next week,
I
couple
can't say I
weeks.
feel all that bad when you really take a hard look at the people that were on this team, how they're activists, how they are
Oh yeah.
self centered, narcissists. They don't really
You recruit activists and you're already fucked. Like I don't know what to tell you.
care about anybody else. And sure, I get that the leadership might have had a different vision for the outcome of this title, and they might be to blame in part for the game being bad, but the developers are also certainly to blame. And now that Tencent has pulled funding, I just think that this game is dead. But that's all that I had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts.
Well, I think this is a great. She's a great like. She is a good. Oh fuck my words. Vara Dark. She is a great content creator who does like great what's it called gives out good information and like covers it very simply, so it's very easy to understand. Always uploading daily. Really cool person. I will check comments for a second. The classic. It's everyone's fault, but fault, not mine. Argument. Like that's worked before. That's true. It's always somebody else's fault when a game fails. It's somebody else's fault. It's like it's easy to point fingers and blame somebody else, but it's never easy to take responsibility for your own failures. But with that being said, this is gonna be the end of the video. Remember, guys, we're here for a good time, not a long time. Now, catch y'all later.